10 o'clock, let's call the meeting to order. First item of business is the minutes. We have a correction.
Need to correct item 5A. It should say motion by Munson, second by Smith to approve the final plans for 260th Street. Just a couple hundred off.
All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll move on the minutes.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and approval of claims.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll pass around the memorandum of personnel transactions.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Gloria.
The Christmas holiday, the floating holiday, we should usually do that the day before. So that would be, that'd be the 24th on Tuesday.
On what?
On the 24th on Tuesday. We usually do it the day before, like Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll have our board meeting on Monday, the 23rd then.
Okay.
Have you got anything else, Gloria?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you much. A tax suspension for MB.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Nara.
We commissioners report.
No. No.
On item 5.
Whoops, I forgot. I skipped number 5. Mr. Butler. Didn't mean to skip you, I just got carried away here.
Well, what we have here, it came on your iPad, I guess, the agreement with Salix on a 2-mile limit. Salix, we did go down a meeting. The board represented very well down there. We went through it all with the Salix City Council. We asked questions all the way through it. There were no questions. There's a few, but not many. At the end of the meeting, they did approve it 4-0 to extend their 2-mile permission to the urban renewal area that we have so defined, and that it's up to the board here to go ahead and authorize the chair to sign that same agreement.
I would move it.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this is the first step. The second step, we have a meeting with the landowners December 3rd at 7 o'clock at Salix. Everybody's invited. I think we're going to probably have a call at a special meeting. So if we have more than 2 board members there, 3, we're fine. So far, we've had very positive response. And then after that step, we may have to have a special meeting of the board to set the hearing date so we get this done this year. So, and that'd just be a short 5-minute meeting to set the date so we can have the hearing for our urban renewal area. That way, we also have consultation with 2 school districts, Sergeant Bluff and Westwood. They're the only 2 we have to talk to because the city's not really included in it. The county will be there. And it used to be Western Iowa Tech had to be included, but they changed the laws to just the school districts. So that should be fine. After that, we have to have that 7 days prior, so that's why we have to set the date at least 2 weeks to get it in. So everything appears to be going very well.
Thank you.
Questions?
Nope.
Now, Mark.
I'm just going to introduce our weed commissioner, Jared Jepson, allow him to give you a report.
Hi, Jared.
I think you got it electronically.
The only thing is, we don't have a copy, we'll need one for the chair to sign, and we'll turn it into,
I've got one out in the pickup bag. When I get done, I can bring it back in if you want me to.
That works.
or turn it over to Jared.
Any questions with anything, I guess? I don't know, it's been a good year, I guess. Everything's cleaning up a little bit, getting a few more trees killed.
It's a good thing to kill things out there.
Yeah.
If you're the weed commissioner, right?
It's tough to get everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a big county. You gotta keep hustling. And of course, finance. I mean, it's expensive to spray everything. It gets expensive in a hurry.
We do subsidize his budget for both weed spray, and then we pay the vast majority of the brush spray dollars within our budget. Jared's been a good deal more aggressive than we've had in the last few years on getting out and getting things sprayed. And I think you're starting to see an impact in some of our rural ditches. We'll be able to keep that working through spring and getting out and getting some of these areas of brush killed off before they get started on us again. Last winter, we had a good winter with our own crews for going out and cutting down the stuff that's larger, the stuff that's chainsaw work. We've been able to get Jared into those areas to spray some of the weed growth that's coming back after it. One of the things that I think would be helpful is next year to look at expanding his herbicide budget. We've been running on $10,000 a year for a lot of years, and we've tried to hold the line. If it's possible, I'd like to see us maybe expand that to 15 to 18,000. I think
Well,
he
one
can take a
thing,
little
one
bump.
thing, just since I've been the weed commissioner in 2012, I know the spring of 2012, when I wasn't hired yet, the price of chemical jumped 5%. Because there's a shortage of 2,4-D, stuff like that. Farmers are using more of it also. More of their crops are becoming 2,4-D tolerant, so they can use more of it, and that's actually hurting us because they're using more of our product that we're using, and then there's a shortage of it. This year it's going to go up another 3%. So it's just since I've been here, it's probably jumped 7 or 8%. You know, the price of chemical has, which, and if my budget doesn't jump, then that cuts me back on product 8%. Well, that's a big number. I mean,
But we've also been subsidizing to keep him moving out there. But he's also been trying some new products that are very effective. Streamline being one of the herbicides we're getting very good results from.
and the streamline was good, except for last summer with the drought. They had me running 11 ounces per acre, and DuPont come back and said, you need to cut back to 7.5 ounces per acre, because with the drought, we killed some brome in some spots, and it's not eye-appealing at all. I mean, it just, and that was after our second frost. Everything that was before the first frost and after the first frost was really good. We didn't hurt the brome, but everything that after the second frost, you can see it right to the date. We cannot spray after the second frost for sure, and and I did back to 7.5 ounces. I mean, we backed up, quite a bit on it. They got a new product out called Remedy, but they want you to run as diesel fuel as a carrier with it, and I'm not going to do that because we're going to really kill brome then. I mean, it's in diesel fuel, it's $4 a gallon, $3.50 a gallon. And I run through 700 gallons of water in maybe 3 or 4 hours. Can you imagine having fuel in there?
But
I'm not even going to try it.
If you notice, these products are still expensive, but they're a lot more, I guess, environmentally friendly, because you're using a lot fewer ounces
Per acre,
and gallons as you're mixing.
The streamline also doesn't move. It doesn't turn into a gas, where Remedy with a diesel fuel, it'll turn into a gas. It'll take off up through bean fields, into people's flowers. It moves. The streamline dries, it leaves a residue on the plant, done deal. We're good to go. Except for on a windy day, if it's real windy, we got to cut back because it will drift. It will take off with the wind.
Or do you spray on real windy days
No,
then?
I shut down and I go run the brush tractor and cut brush usually, or try to get caught up on paperwork and check out, what other. There's a website that I can go to check out what other counties are doing, what they're seeing. You just want to kind of keep up on that.
Yeah, you have to be
so you know where
careful.
all that stuff is at and what's going on.
What we've done with Jared also, and that he's been really good with, is we've given him more control of his hours. So he's working outside the hours that our normal secondary growth staff is on a good many days to take advantage of those conditions where it's a good time to spray. Maybe starting at 5:30
Yeah,
sometimes.
especially if I'm going to, to the south part of the county or clear west, I get up and get moving, so when it's daylight, I can be spraying it. Usually the wind don't come up till 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. If that's what happens, I go back and shut her down, and I'll go do my own things, and then the only thing I haven't done is work to Saturday, I guess, but, I haven't done that yet. I don't know if they want me to. I will, if that's what, if the weather permits, I would. That's no big deal to me.
Working for a still day is tough.
What's that?
Working for a still day is tough.
Yeah, it is, especially, well, this fall, it was windy, hot and windy almost every day. We didn't spray as much brush, but we've cut a lot more with the brush tractor. I've put a lot of hours on that this year.
And the board did expand his hours back up to 42 and a half, which I think made a difference this summer. Actual hours out there working.
You seem
Need a
happy.
motion?
I seem happy.
Yeah.
It's probably the best job I've ever had, to tell you the truth.
Good.
It really
Good.
is. I
Good
appreciate it,
receive.
guys.
You're working for yourself.
Well, a little bit, but you know what? I worked construction before this. I missed all of my kids' ball games. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Good.
I think you're a good fit for this job.
Yes, you
I
are.
enjoy it so
Really do.
far. It's been good. Oh, you have bad days. I've got my butt chewed plenty.
Move
Unless-
to receive.
Unless the wind quits
Second.
after 5 o'clock, then you have to start working.
Yeah,
late.
that's usually how it works, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, do you want me to bring that paper in for someone to
Yes,
sign off? I
I'll
will.
need to have him
Thanks.
sign.
I'll go
so
grab
I
it.
can copy
Thank you for the update, Jared.
You bet. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Is there a motion?
And girls.
And a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, one other thing that we did do this year, and I forgot to talk about this, we went with some biological control on Leafy Spurge down by Hornick. They're just a little flea beetle. They lay eggs around the Leafy Spurge. The adults feed off the plant itself. The larvae feed off all the roots. So they take that leafy spurge patch and they just shrink it up to absolutely nothing in no time. However, they leave enough there for them to live off of. So it's not going to completely kill it out, but it takes the patch down. In 2 years, it's crazy how fast it takes it down. And it's just, the state weed commissioner asked me about that. If I found some leafy spurge, please try it, because we hadn't done